Hello everyone and welcome to our 29th webinar series. AABN has a winning start with well over 3 years in business networking, connecting our alumni globally. With the AABN Chennai as its epicenter and chapters at Bangalore, Coimbatore, Pondicherry and Madurai, AABN focuses on connecting entrepreneurs encompassing cutting-edge technology in IT, healthcare, petroleum products, infrastructure, automobile components, power, agriculture, marine, coordinating product developers and innovators. With every passing day, we introduced a wider informed view driven by the market requirements. The process has had the knock-on effect of growing collaborations across functional boundaries of our alumni entrepreneurs. As we move to another exciting phase in AABN, it's time to recall the significant milestones that we have crossed together. A slew of worthwhile business networking programs was organized to reach out to our former students. Besides strengthening the AABN network by adding other faculties like agriculture, business administration, pharma, marine biology, etc., we will soon be launching our website and mobile app to stay connected and updating the entrepreneurs database. As part of an ongoing effort to think global while focusing on the domestic market, we have been organizing this webinar since June 2020. The spotlight has been on entrepreneurship and business networking. We have had alumni from across the globe participating, sharing ideas, and networking with experts from various fields. This has been a tremendously rewarding program in our calendar. It has been a year of unwavering focus on entrepreneurial industry-related programs involving thought leaders, experienced professionals, aspiring entrepreneurs, and newbies in various fields. Webinars on farming and agro-based industries deserves to be highlighted. We are planning events with a specific focus on reaching out to a business networking community of different interests. India's relationship with Southeast Asia intensified after the announcement of Look East policy in the early 1990s. Since then, India and Southeast Asia nations have been continuously improving ties and announcing many trade and strategic partnerships. Many are choosing Southeast Asia as the next destination to land and expand. An analysis on various Indian startups who have expanded or planning to expand their operations in Southeast Asia shows that Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Philippines are the most favored locations for expansion for Indian startups. With a range of factors such as high population, English-speaking demography, high digital and internet penetrations, and opportunities to expand into East Asia and other markets, these four countries offer a unique opportunity for Indian startups looking to expand overseas. Here at ABN, we live and die by our communication success and failures. It's with special excitement that I am pleased to welcome Mr. A. Ilangovan, fellow alumni and senior writer, to our webinar today. India is a fast emerging market with an aim to create a highly interactive knowledge sharing and networking platform for the entrepreneurial ecosystem. We have been conducting these weekly webinars. I'm sure this session will drive new business opportunities and foster innovation. Mr. Ilangovan truly understands the challenge of being in the industry when the technology is constantly changing. He will give you fine concrete strategies for you to remain focused and competitive. Mr. Ilangovan is here on a mission to help entrepreneurs build and grow profitable business. Mr. Ilangovan needs no introduction to this forum. He is our alumnus from the 1981 batch Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering. He has been involved with some of the bigger names in the oil and gas industry like EAL, KNPC, Honeywell, McDermott, FMC Technologies, Emerson, etc. before starting his own venture. He has developed rare capabilities in detail engineering, DCS, sales, channel management, project management, installation, testing, and commissioning large-scale oil and gas projects. His venture, Exilog Technologies, is specialized in flow measurement and control products. He is a trained architect in his field and has a unique 39 plus years of background in elegant leadership, project management of several development projects, strategic planning, and business development, which provides his clientele with unique advantage. A very active participant and is passionately involved in the Annamalai alma mater. He is the founding secretary and past president of the Singapore Annamalai Alumni Association and has contributed significantly for the growth and unity of our alumni association. This day will be noted by us to be one of those rare and wonderful moments because of our invited guest. His name echoes the essence of service, dedication, compassion. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to cut short this title track and credits and welcome Mr. Ilangovan. Over to the hero of the day, Mr. Ilangovan.
Thank you very much, Gopi. Thank you for your introduction. Really, it's a great pleasure to be, with our group as a speaker. Um, எல்லாருக்கும் வணக்கம். Um, உங்களுடைய Gopi, Tariq, Vaiti, and all these guys, I really appreciate your time and effort. Personal டயத்தை செலவு பண்ணி you are all doing fantastic job, bringing us together, and these type of sessions really to me is like lifelong learning session. What we learned in university is one, and whatever we learned along the way is the one which really helps us to build our career, to build our personality, to be a social contributor. In that way, I really salute you all for your time, personal time, and bringing all together. I understand this is 29th, and I know how much effort is required to bring such a seminar, even though it is virtual, but it needs a lot of effort. When I see every day, 4 or 5, messages from everybody, and I mean different channels. You guys are not leaving, emails, everything. You are using like scam messages. So many, even though I'm a speaker, I do get from personally from people, 4 or 5. Interesting. That shows how serious you are all in reaching our alumni and adding value to their efforts. I would like to, as you all mentioned, that my presentation will be more of, I would like to see as more interaction. Of course, I'll go through a few slides, give some statistics, what's happening here with our experience in Singapore. As you all know, Singapore is a place in ASEAN, sort of a leadership position in the economic front. They started way ahead the economic integration with the world, and they opened market economy and very progressive policies and very stable leadership. All these things put together has made Singapore as what we are today. Singapore, though it's a small country in this region, and they play a very major role in taking the whole region into the world network, to the economic development. Okay, with this, I will I'll go to the slide so that we can move forward, and some then along the way we can discuss if anything you are interested. Okay. What's happening here? Okay. Right. Okay, just briefly on my journey. Of course, schooling from my village. I'm a village boy. It's now it's Thiruvarur. Earlier it was Tanjavur district. தஞ்சாவூர்னு சொல்றதுல ஒரு காலத்துல நல்லா பெருமையா இருக்கும் எல்லா இடத்துலையும். Tanjavur district. Then PUC Bishop Keeper College, Trichy. Interestingly, maybe around 20 of my friends from Trichy, Bishop Keeper joined Annamalai, and also many other engineering professional colleges. We all keep in touch even today. Some of them.
Sir, Ilan sir.
Yeah.
And in the presentation, screen la varala, sir. I think you need to share that particular screen. Maybe you may have to stop the share and again share.
Okay. No, is it?
presentation இன்னும் வரல screenல.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't check with you.
No,
okay.
it's okay, sir. இப்போ வருதுங்க.
வருதா?
You can make it full screen.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, perfect.
Is it audible as well as visible?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, just my journey. Just want to briefly introduce myself. PUC, Bishop Weeper College, Trichy. Then it itself was a change, from the village background to Trichy Bishop Weeper College. Everything new at that time, and also we faced emergency during the time, towards the end of the PUC emergency. It's a sort of a political change. We saw something, really what's happening, that gave some experience also. Then Annamalai is, is a place where really I learned a lot of things, not only on the academic side, and it is equally on the people handling and meeting the society, NLC, in-plant training gave a different view on the experiences. Okay, then move to, I started in fact with Thermalai Chemicals shortly, a short period. Then moved to J&H. Those time J&H was a sort of a funnel builder and control system run by stalwarts from MIT. I learned a lot as a construction engineer. Then moved to project engineer and few roles in Tuticorin. In Tuticorin, when I was there in Speak, I met a lot of our guys. A lot of our guys were in Speak that time. It's something like, living in our hostel. So many guys were there in Speak Tuticorin campus. Then went to EAL, Engineers India. You all know Engineers India. That's all the way took me to Assam. Without knowing Hindi, I landed in Assam in a very remote place called Jagi Road, where the Nelly massacre happened when I was there. That's really, it is a different social backlash I saw during those time. Okay. And during our Assam time was the Assam Ganasangra Parshat, a lot of social unrest. Every day we used to see blackouts and, those type of things, those time. There's a huge campus we built. Interestingly, not many people interested to come there, senior people. So they put all junior people like me in much bigger jobs. Like, the first year itself, I handled something like 40 crores worth of contracts on the field. So it gave a lot of experience on the ground and construction. As you all know, construction is the area where you see every day is a progress. You do something, you bring your materials, you put up the contractor, you see next day something coming up. The campus we started working there, when we went there is a plain areas around 600 acres. We built the compound and all, everything we built. And when I left that place, we were running something like 400 tons per day of paper. Such a huge facility we built up. That was a lot of experience that time for me. Then I moved to Guwahati from Assam, Jagi Road, then to Kamam Chemical Refinery. It's a heavy water project. Is another experience in Andhra, such a hottest place in India. Then after that, somewhere 86, 87, that time frame, Cholan paper, you all know it was started by Talaivar A.R.M. Govindarajan, and I was helping him to execute the project. It's another experience as a first-time entrepreneur from, agriculture base without much of experience, and Mr. Gonjarajan started that project. Then I went in and I did from the scratch. It was another very interesting thing for me to learn. Those time, 80s, it's not easy to get a small approval. You have to go all the way to Delhi and all those type of things. And funding is another issue. Getting materials, drawing, you make drawing and, get the equipments done and all is a huge task. Even to make a phone call is a huge task those times. That was a real learning for me on the ground, though I worked in EIL with bigger projects and these small projects, but it's a sort of, doing everything, right from, digging for foundation and erecting and checking, everything. That was a real experience for me on the ground. Then after that, after commissioning that project, went to Kuwait, Honeywell. It's interestingly, they put me in US and Honeywell. That time they introduced a system called TDC 3000. That TDC 3000 that time was the latest in the automation industry. We were involved in a 20,000 loops refinery upgrading. We did right from the, this called field verification. You go to field and check everything, what is there as it is. Then, you make your configuration. You went to US, we implemented everything in a system and, we came back with the system. Oh, that's a fantastic experience for me. Unfortunately, when we came back from USA with the system, Saddam Hussein entered. That was a huge thing, a blow. I was under Saddam Hussein regime almost 28 days and somehow escaped via Iraq and Jordan, around 2,000 kilometers by road in the war-torn area. That's another huge shock and to manage, and somehow we escaped. We stayed in the refugees camp in Iraq and in Jordan airport, something like 5 days waiting in the queue to get the free flight to Mumbai. That type of experience that was. Okay. Then since I was in Honeywell and I was in the US factory working and all, they moved me to Singapore after this, escape from Kuwait. And really, I am thankful to Saddam Hussein who really, brought me to Singapore. In fact, I didn't come for any, employment, but it's all happened. Sometimes, I feel destination is not in our hand, it happens. So this, and with the Honeywell, then moved to McDermott, Emerson, all these big companies. It was a fantastic time traveling throughout the world and doing a lot of bigger jobs like offshore, onshore metering, that type of thing. Then after some time, then 2006 I started. Yes, this is a time to start on my own because I had a all-round experience, from concept to commissioning type of things, and in various aspects. So that's the way I started. As an entrepreneur, now what we are doing is the products and on flow measurement items. As well as we do engineering. We have next slide I will show you. We have 3 areas of operations. So just to recap, started from construction, enjoyed realizing drawings taking life as a process plant and infrastructure. Moved to control system engineering, project management, commissioning, sales, product development, and manufacturing. The journey has taught many real life lessons. Taken me to 34 countries for work and travel. As engineers and entrepreneurs, we can play a vital role for a better world. This is something I feel what I am today. Okay, this is about company. Just a quick one. We have products, we have services, engineering services basically. What we do is we do only the design, we make data sheets, and we outsource all the manufacturing. Some of them from India, some of them from Korea, some of them Singapore. On the engineering also, with my experience, I undertake particularly modular process kits. Sort of, somebody gives me P&ID, we give complete drawing, they can go and build themselves. That type of thing approach. This is also outsourced from my channel partners in Mumbai and Chennai. Okay. We also do representation. In fact, I started this company more like a representation with my experience. And since I know many vendors, it became easy for me. And I had a good network with the customers. So this representation is the one which has given me the sort of inroad to the customers. And we are still keeping a few of the representations. Okay. Right. That's all about me and the company. Now I'll quickly move on to what is our today's subject. Okay. Um, ASEAN, as you all know, is an association of Southeast Asian nations, 10 countries. The difference between Southeast Asia, and this is Timor is not there, so Timor is yet to come into the picture. So it's only 10 countries. In fact, they started with 5 countries, then 6, 8, 9, something like that. Now it's 10 countries. Okay. It's around 660 million people, and GDP USD 3.11 trillion, about more than India. That's interesting. We have to note. It's huge actually for us. We are not far away from these countries. It's maybe 3 to 4 hours by flight. 1 week or 10 days by ship for any goods to arrive. So this is a very good proximity for us. Okay, now you look at the history. You all know that, this whole region was at one point of time controlled by our kings, Cholas, Pallavas, sometimes Pandyas, our kings controlled the whole region actually. And if you go to any places, places in this part of the world, like Bali, or you go to Cambodia, or go to Borobudur, or Thailand, Malaysia, you can see our cultural background, in terms of temples, in terms of language uses. Many people, they names and many words they use is from Tamil, from Sanskrit, from Hindi. So there is a lot of link for us. You will really feel when you come here and talk to the people. It's easy to connect. We already have that sort of a cultural heritage, background with this area. Okay, regarding trade, there's a lot of cooperation going on. The latest one is free trade is since 2011. A lot of push, last few years, on the government side. All the embassies through their trade division, they are doing a lot of work actually with the countries. They are in terms of opening up, in terms of reducing the tariff, legal structure, even through the export Exim Bank, our banks extending sort of a credit line to some of the countries. That type of arrangements are there in the macro level. Okay. And on the business to business, our entrepreneurs are doing fantastic work actually. Later I will show you which are the companies. And on an individual basis, there's a lot of industrial houses are very active here. Everybody has their own way of doing things because of their connections, their strength, these things. So a lot of things happening in this region, okay, with our people. And if you want to have more detail, you can go to the website. ASEAN. There's a lot of details available. In fact, our India Trade Portal also is giving a lot of information. So the information are really good. The last few days I spent on this. I never spent too much time on this type of things, but it's really useful. It all depends on what you want to do and which area you want to, go in. All those details are available. Okay, just sort of a snapshots on the abundant natural resources. They are really, this region is blessed with oil, gas, water, everything you have, natural resources, forest, so much of a forest area, and, you know, um, the development focused political leadership. This is very important. This more or less the region is stable except one or two countries, some social unrest or something is there, but otherwise it's overall it's sort of a political leadership is very stable, and they all work with the people very closely. Then consistent industrialization and economic transformation. This is something, in my last 30 years, I am seeing these, tangible changes. If somebody has visited here 20 years ago, and if you come now, you will see some areas, totally changed. Even Singapore, of course, there's a lot of changes, but other places, that economic transformation, you can see really, places, the roads, the airport, that type of things, even their community utilities, each small towns, the way they do is really amazing. Okay. Then deepening regional production network and rising local demand. This is another interesting economic point of view. The regional production network, they are very consistently doing this. There's a proper plan, which area, which industry to come, like Thailand, they become, sort of the auto hub, everybody is going there, like Toyota, many companies going there because they developed that ecosystem and they developed that regional production. Same thing like in Malaysia, go to Penang, it's sort of an electronics hub. There's a lot of focus on that from the government side as well as the entrepreneurs to develop such ecosystem. Same thing between Johor and Singapore. This corridor also, it's a lot of electronic industries as well as engineering industries. Those are all developed, with the proper planning, proper ecosystem, proper integration with the global players. That is very important actually. So that, everybody gets a benefit out of the system. Technology, diffusion, and innovation are the major engine of growth. They are doing it fantastic. They hire foreign expertise as on when required, and implement with very focused. That area they want electronics, they know what to do. They want some areas pharmaceutical, they know what to do. To whom they should go and how to develop. And they also see that supply chain, they who are the customers, who are the people going to do the production. Everything is worked out so nice, and things works here. You can see this, visible every 2 years. You can see some areas how the real development is happening here. Emphasis on human capital is another big thing, and everybody here, they all want to learn more. They know that outside world has picked up a lot, and they are far behind. So everybody is, they want to learn a lot of things and technical skills, IT skills. So there's a lot of foreign entities here from Europe, USA, and all. They have institutions along with the locals. So this is also another huge area for us. GDP is around, it is put together. Of course, Singapore is far ahead, but its overall put together is 4,600 against they are double than us actually. Overall, even average of ASEAN. So net export, ASEAN is a net export. They, those few countries are importing, Even Indonesia, for that matter, is a net importer. But there are other countries way ahead, actually. So they are a net exporter. Working on to reach EU standard of living by 2050. So this is a huge jump they are looking at. And there is a consistent work happening in the government level, and the investment and the strategies being followed, and all, they are towards that, actually. So there is a huge, potential, this thing. And after the COVID, since almost 2 years, everybody is going to lose. I'm sure this region is going to come up with a lot of catch-up activities. That's where there is going to be huge requirement for a lot of expertise and materials. Um, Home to headquarters of more than 80 folks. Yeah, many, the foreign companies, leading companies are here. You go there, and some of them will become almost like local, I would say. They have liked this place, so much, and they have integrated so much like the local place, local enterprise. Okay, so there are some statistics. India's export. These are all available in the India portal. You can see all those things. If you look at this, we are out of their import, we are doing just 3% only. You know, so that means 97% of around 2 trillion dollars import they are doing. It's not the GDP, it's the import. They are doing so much import. For that, the import they are doing for local consumption as well as for export. You know, so there is a huge potential available. What we are doing is, very, very small, this thing in this market. So this is something, with the HS code I given. But if you look at this, basically, this comes to our major areas are all definitely engineering items, or a lot of items are coming here. Is only the top 10 items. The trade portal gives details on 25 items. If somebody wants interested, and you all can go through this. Okay. Iron and steel fabricated items, sometimes steel also comes here, and of course garments, one area. Organic chemicals, vehicles are coming here. Plastic articles, maybe the industrial pumps type of things, and plastics. Pharmaceutical is picking up now. So these are the areas where I think. Okay, now this is the, for us, for our alumni, what are the areas we can look into as alumni group with engineering background, on services as well as products. These are the items, areas which we can focus. This is something out of my experience, meeting people, and in this region, and seeing the projects and companies. Oil and gas, definitely. I think many of our people are in oil and gas. They know. In oil and gas, we have a lot of opportunities, and we have expertise in oil and gas. We have engineering companies. Many of the engineering companies, world leaders, are in India now. That means we have so much of expertise available. They are using it, as well as we can also use those expertise and market in this region. Infrastructure and urban development, it's a huge thing. They are looking at a network of a railway network, road network, with China's Belt and Road initiatives. So many things happening here. It's a mind-boggling figures if you look at the development plan they have. Of course, project management consultancy, this goes with everything. They need a lot of support on this. Industry 4.0, another initiative. This region, sort of tech savvy. The people, they like to see everything, on the mobile phone. That's something, it's a huge potential. So this is our people have the lead now, because a lot of our people, technical knowledge we have. Smart cities is another opportunity where there is a lot of integration is required Basically, smart cities, as you all know, it's basically collecting data. How do you integrate with various softwares and software tools, and including movement, facial recognitions, crime, everything, whatever you imagine, the whole thing is integrated, and you give it in a one platform for the people to understand. This is something area where sort of a system thinking approach, with software skills, engineering skill, integration skill is all required. So this is our there's a lot of potential for us to go in healthcare. I think now India is recognized as after this COVID and our goodwill created with the vaccine. Healthcare is another area. Definitely, Indians will be recognized in this region, in this sector. Education training also in the big area. ICT, of course, it covers many things on the ICT. E-commerce is another one here because of the wide region, the remote places, and the convenience. E-commerce is picking up. It's going crazy actually. It's like India that way. Automobile, of course, we have our companies have started playing a role here. Like Mahindra has come in. Everybody knows the Bajaj. Long time they are here. TVS is there. All the people are already here, and there's a lot of potential. Automation and electrical and electronic systems. This is the integration basically. Okay. So I just put some observations based on my experience. Except Singapore, which is far ahead of other countries in terms of technical expertise, other countries are in need of expertise in various fields for their implementation of projects at competitive price and international quality. Okay. The key to win project is how close we can match with their working culture. This is what the key actually, that is every country has their own way of doing things, own procedures, because of their capability of, implementing projects and the government regulations, funding, it all, there are so many things, the working culture, we all need to understand and go through the tender process and local partnership, that type of things approach we have to take. That is the way we can win jobs here. We can target some of the business being provided by US, EU by providing the same quality at competitive price. That's what they are looking at now. See, they don't have hard currency, but they need their type of systems. They want to live with advanced systems, but they cannot afford paying US dollar or euro, for those consultants and products. So that is where we can come in and play our role. Okay, this is just I thought of mode of operation for our people to think, and in my survey, some of them has given good feedbacks and how they are doing. So this is something typically any export organization should look for. You can think of direct marketing, you can think of local agents or distributor, joint venture. There are companies here running joint ventures. They do local manufacturing from India. You can think of a back office or support. Now it's become sort of a reality after this COVID. It is definitely possible giving support to companies in this region from India. Deputation of key people, this is the one mode. Some bigger projects and all, a few people can come in and others can work from India, that type of approach. Partners with startups. This is another area where there is a lot of value chain involved. Singapore, there's a lot of startup companies. Singapore, if you look at the patent registration, they are way ahead. So there's a lot of technology being developed in place like Singapore, where Indian entrepreneurs can work with them, take their technology, or you can develop those products and and commercialize. That type of approach. There's a huge potential available. And government is particularly Singapore government is spending a huge money actually in developing such technologies. Okay. Mode of operation to be decided based on the type of product, target customers, market size, etc. Due to localization drive, there is a huge demand for the latest and energy efficient technologies. See, like our Make India campaign, here also localization is there. That is, inevitable. So when the localization comes, what happens is the company is trying to produce their own products, out of in-country approach. So that time they don't have, proper companies who over, some 20 years in business and have a matured product and have a matured system. They can come in and join with these people. That a route we can take. So we'll discuss this later. I just want to touch base what's in my mind. Indian corporates, these people are in big time here. If you look at this, Tata Steel, long time here, Tata Power is here. Tata Power has some mines in Indonesia, software TCS is there here. Adani, we all know the big names, big issues, Adani's entry here, and they are big, definitely. SBOS projects is out of Karnataka. They are also doing very good on the mines and other projects. They are in here. Triveni Group, we all know, is our alumnus, 1969 batch, Mr. Balasubramanian from Salem. They have a presence in Indonesia. Birla Group is there long time. Birla Group is there in, I think, Thailand in big way, Indonesia also. Indorama Group, another group, South Pacific East Coast. These guys are a long time here. Precall Engineering, Coimbatore, you all know the dashboard instruments. They have a manufacturing facility in Jakarta, almost, I think, 20 years. They manufacture there and domestically they sell. That's basically like become a local manufacturing setup, but it's owned by Precall. Saraf Group is from Thailand. It is also a very interesting group. This company, I understand, is 150 years old company. And in Thailand itself, they are 100 years old. They are started with the diamond, gold, jewelries and all, now move to high tech like software, many things. It's a huge group now. TVS Group, they have a manufacturing facility in Jakarta. Of course, Infosys there. Sapurji Balanji, which is the parent sort of a company of Tata Group. Also, they have in FPSO and all, they have joint venture with Malaysian partners. Tirumala Chemicals, where I started my career. Short term I was there, and they have their own facility in joint venture in Malaysia. These are the engineering companies. They're all supplying to these projects here through their local agent. Sometimes direct. They have different channels. Maybe L&T is doing. L&T Valves is doing. I myself was representing L&T Valves, so I know this company. L&T Electrical is doing work in Malaysia. L&T Mechanical is doing some plant maintenance. L&T Electrical is doing overhead lines type of thing, in Penang area and all. Kirloskar Brothers is there in Indonesia. This chemical processing from Gujarat, they do FRP pipes. General Instruments, instrument line, of course, these guys are known to me. They are also doing a lot of this. Kevin Engineering, maybe you all know, it's, I think I've run some of them are there. Roto pumps, these are all from Roto pumps from Kanpur, Rizani, all this. VA Tech Babak, maybe you all know, Chennai based. They are big in water treatment plant. They have done few jobs. I myself worked with these guys in Malaysia. Thermax also is here, long time. Woodfield System is more of a control system and loading arms type of companies in from Mumbai. Encon Group and is a cooling tower, cooling fans. Ravinder, 83 Ravinder knows this company, and Cool Flow is another sort of, they are competitors. Cool Flow engineers, they also do fans. I know them also. So this is only partial list. I just want to highlight, these guys are all operating here. Okay, interesting. Now, what I did when Tariq approached me, I thought, I should do something, really sort of interactive and try to understand what's really happening instead of just to give a talk. So I did a real survey, made a Google form, thanks to Google. Really, it's very helpful. I put up the form to two different forms. One form is to the users, end users. I sent to all countries, all the 10 countries, through my channels and my friends circle and all. Fortunately, I could get within 1 week time. I could get from all the countries. That's something I was really happy. Some feedback. Okay, users was given a good feedback. I'll go through one by one. And I also really good. I got something responses quickly. That gives some idea what's the profile I'm talking to export market. Okay. Is okay? Is everybody's okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's perfectly fine.
Okay. Okay, the survey results. Look at this. This is from users. So the guys, more from Singapore responded because more proximity. But interestingly, I got from others also, like Malaysia, Indonesia, everywhere. I got some feedback. It gives some idea. This is, sort of a self-evaluation for our exporters, and also gives some idea what they are expecting. So which sector, I put up the sectors, and they also given, interestingly, engineering services is more people responded, maybe because of my contacts, engineering items. But it's a good mix actually. Then this is something you all can look at this. Hope it's all visible, right? This slides,
Sir.
The chart
Yeah,
visible.
yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's visible. Interesting.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay. Is that our price people think is competitive. Some of the users are really good. They also indicate that below market. That means there is a scope for you to increase the price. But largely people think that end users think that we are competitive, our pricing structure. Okay, next on quality. Around 30%, 32%, they only say international quality. Otherwise, 60% if they say it's average, their experience. So it's something we need to note. You want to nowadays, you have to be competing on the quality, because as you all know, price nowadays everybody knows with e-commerce, with internet, and many people they give pricing on the internet. So it's the quality and the how you deliver other support services which matters. So it looks like we need to catch up on the definitely on quality. Delivery performance, if you look at this, around 36 is average. We have around 28 below average. So this is also something we need to note. Technical support looks like we are doing good, satisfied. I think technical supports and average looks okay. Below average is only 14% technical support. Documentation looks like average only. It looks like below average is around 18%. This is very important nowadays because um, ASEAN, many importers, your channel partners, they are not well versed in, all those documentations and technical support, all those things. So we need to give a proper documentation in this region if you want to really, make good business in this region. Because technically they are not that much qualified, and they don't want to get into all the trouble with the customs, because uh, many customs in the country, many countries except Singapore and maybe Thailand to some extent, all others have issues like what we had in India. So the customs, for them, it should be easy to clear. All our documentation has to be very clear. Otherwise, they will not come to you next time. Okay. Preferred choices. Interestingly, many people say yes. With all these things, they still they at India, maybe because of the price. So this is what we need to see. If you look at this, nobody has chosen China. It's something I also felt, hey, what's happening? Is it because of the recent issue, COVID issue, and the negative feeling on China? I don't know. America also no in this list, because people think that America buys mostly from outside. I don't know why that's the reason. But Europe, yes, and Japan, Korea, a lot of people, they want from Japan, Korea. Okay. So if you think you want to compete, probably, Europe, Japan is the benchmark, for us to, fix the standard and work from there. Okay, that's all about this thing. We will now from our guys. In fact, I sent only to our guys only. I didn't send to outside, so to get a feel, so that it's more focused with our people. If you look at this, the left-hand side, the first one, most of them, of course, entrepreneurs. There are senior management people who have responded. The location mostly Chennai. I think Chennai, our guys focus definitely more groups in Chennai, no doubt. We can see from the ABN activities, our people, even in this COVID time, I see, almost every week there are, interactions and the referrals. People still buy cars, people still buy houses and all. Our people really active. Real enterprising, then Coimbatore is there. So mostly from Chennai, Coimbatore, and other regions also we have people, our entrepreneurs. Okay, regarding if you go to the sector, which sector we are all, it's sort of interestingly, it's a good mix actually. Our people are, it's not just only engineering, though we are all engineers by engineering background. Looks like, we all understand the business is a business. It doesn't matter, whether it is technical or non-technical, or you want to sell leather or you want to sell vegetable, that doesn't matter, what you are good at and what you want to do, that's what it matters. So we have a very good mix in all sectors. That's something interesting. Years of experience, if you see, we have more people from 20 plus. We have a lot of seniors who are experienced people really into business. Then more than 10 years, also around 30%. So then another next one is annual export. We really have people, who are something above around 18%, more than 5 million. So we have exporters, doing 5 million out of this, sample survey. I'm sure there are more. So that means we have expertise. We know this, area. Then export business. Then 2 to 5 million, not many. Then next goes to less than 2 million. So that means many of them are, trying to enter and establish themselves. Okay. So if you look at this, very interesting. Target is more people are targeting. If you compare this, what is existing and what is target, yes, it is really good. Our people are, going to 2 to 5 million. There was nobody. Now they want around 18% want to go into 2 to 5 million bracket. It's a huge jump, so that's interesting. Once you have the goal, then action will take place. So that's interesting. Then export market. Now we are there, except Africa. It looks there, and interestingly, more people are into ASEAN already. And if you look at the target, some of the people we are target. Africa is being, it has come to the target now. That means we are people, we are trying to conquer the whole world. That itself encouraging. So then ASEAN also, it's more than, what we are doing today. Okay, now we'll go to the mode of operations. I think we have a good mix. As I earlier mentioned, the mode of operation has to be in line with the product maturity and which customer you're looking at and what is the size of your volume of the business you are looking at. It all depends. Each mode works for one type of business. So it's good to know we have all the mix. Then marketing sales strategy also the same. Almost it depends on the product and your technical and financial ability, where you want to reach, how much you want to reach. Okay. So this all we'll discuss later once. Okay. Thank you very much. That's all I have. Now we can go for a discussion. Thank you very much. Thanks all.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. It has been quite an effort and a comprehensive presentation about the market as well as the opportunities. And you've done a lot of groundwork to give a overview of how our alumni have been also doing from the responses what we received. I request Prabhakar to sum up our discussion today and probably moderate where we can open up the mics. Prabhakar, can you unmute yourself? Prabhakar?
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yeah, you are.
Special thanks to our guest speaker, Mr. Ilangovan, sir, who gave an overall perspective of how businesses work in Asia Pacific countries. Specifically with respect to his core area, sir was able to highlight a lot, and I think definitely in the angles of AABN, where we are trying to network our business prospects, this will be a very big way forward. Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation, sir.
Most welcome.
Sir, can we go, Tariq sir, can we go ahead with taking up questions from our participants today?
Yeah, sure, Prabhakar, please go ahead.
As I don't see any questions posted in the chat box now, we keep the forum open. So anybody would like to pose the first question, please?
There's a question from Wish 82 batch.
Yeah, I think Vishwanathan sir, I think he has posted a question. I'll read it out. Will anybody be interested to franchising manufacturing in ASEAN? Which is the best country for this?
Sorry.
Over to Ilangovan, sir.
Sorry, what that is?
Franchising the manufacturing. See, suppose I send products, they can assemble it for assembling and marketing there. Not just selling, not marketing, but assembling and marketing. Which is the best country we can tie up?
Okay. It's a metal, non-metal.
Non-metal plastic, reinforced plastic.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you why. Because the manufacturing can be very dirty. So India, we are accustomed to that kind of manufacturing. So assembling is a better in those countries. Otherwise, pollution regulations and other things can
Yeah, I understand.
be getting headache.
I would suggest for your this thing, FRP, this thing, Batam could be the right place.
Okay.
Yeah, Batam, has access to Singapore
Okay.
and access to Malaysia, and is low cost.
Okay.
And whole Indonesia you can cover from Batam. Batam is as a duty-free area.
I can send, we make these tanks, FRP tanks. We can send multiple diameter shell and dish there, and they can just assemble with a very skeleton staff, 3 or 4 people, and market.
You have to give a proper procedure how to do the bonding. Some bonders you have to send.
No, but my question is, will there people be interested to set up that kind of tie-up in Batam?
In fact, Batam has a lot of things, all the modular kits for FPSO and all, including FRP tanks and pipelines assembly, is done out of Batam, as Singapore is very costly.
Yeah.
So, Batam people, in fact, the labor force is, they know what it is, and there are companies doing such thing.
Okay.
This is nothing new for them.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Mr. Manikam, sir has put his hands up. Can I request, sir, your question, please, Mr. Manikam?
That's our Sadasivam, sir. Sadasivam.
Mr. Sadasivam, sir.
Good morning, friends, and good morning, sir. Chief guest. Sir, important question from me. Since Singapore is strategically located in Arabian Sea, or I can say a confluence of Indian Ocean and Arabian Sea, why don't you think of developing shipbuilding industry, both Singapore and India, particularly Tamil Nadu? Since Tamil Nadu is having 1076 kilometers of seashore, my presumption is that future of Tamil Nadu exists only in the development of coastal projects like tourism, shipbuilding, shipbreaking, fishing, etc., etc. So in that angle, I did not get any material from you regarding this coastal development thing. And one more thing, since you have settled in Singapore, why don't our NI people can create a business center where there is a team of importers and exporters, so that they can get the material from India, especially in Tamil Nadu, and they can also export some products and services to Tamil Nadu, so that we need not go to various places and find and try the scope and other things. You can create a center, whereas all these products and services which are being exported and imported are readily available. These are the two questions I want to pose to you. If you could give me some inputs, I'll be very happy, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Das. I understand both are very important questions. One is coastal development. Of course, it is must. But my focus is more on export to this region. Coastal development, all the ports development, I think in India it's happening, but may not be to the liking of individual states. There are major ports, many ports, as I understand, being developed. This thing. One thing good is, compared to 20 years ago, today we have more ports on the eastern part of east coast, which is good for doing business with this region. We have a very good access within. Vessel can reach within within 2 weeks to any part of this region. That is one. And with the private ports like Tuticorin and all is energized now, not like those days with the Singapore participation, and Karaikal port, the privatization, and Andhra few ports, private ports. all these sports are really adding value to the chain. Okay. Um, my subject today is, of course, not touching India development. That is one. On the other second query, yes, it is happening. In fact, we have SICI, which is Singapore Indian Chamber of Commerce, is doing that to some extent, and our embassy has a trade wing, which is doing to some extent their part. And apart from that, like us, there are groups working. They are all more of area focus, like Gujarati group, like Maharashtra group. There are groups actually working together. They all have some interest groups which promote their own, the cluster industrial promotion approach. But the one you are talking like a mega market or something like Mustafa type, Singapore Mustafa type of thing, where you get all the Indian products and that's something new to, that's, there is a commercial viability we have to see. That is very important. And do we have such product with us? Can we meet the quality? Can we meet the price? Can we store it here? Do we have that, capacity to store? There are many things to be seen, but it is a good concept. I agree with you. But I can tell you with my experience, compared to 20 years ago, today, a lot of things are happening in that direction which you are talking.
Thank you, sir. So there's a question posed by Mr. Shivaraman. In ASEAN province, Vietnam has more potential for export. Can you suggest an idea to AABN so that a consortium can be formed for an export model from India?
Okay, good. See, Vietnam is known for production facilities. Though they came late in this because of the war and so many things, but they picked up a lot. They have a focus. Whatever we have today in Thailand for automobile, as I told you, Penang for electronics, Johor Bahru and Singapore cluster for engineering, they have, I know at least some 20 such industrial clusters are available in Vietnam. Okay, their production base is really good, well organized, and they speak English. And they work very closely with the Taiwanese, Korean, Japanese, big time. You go there, industrial cluster is something like our NLC or BHEL, that type of campuses, huge this thing. And there the government also is somewhat encouraging such industrial clusters, and they welcome foreign this thing. Basically, you need to go with a sort of a technology product, which can be, manufactured with some local content there. I mean, if you import everything and try to do, it may not work. It all depends, the type of system. Is it a value-added system, or you are looking at a common market? Then, it may or may not work out. It has to be value-added with engineering input from India. You do the design, you have a special product. If somebody is, doing it $100, your design and your product can do it the same thing with $80. Yes, there is a possibility. That is what we have to look into that. Yes, definitely, Vietnam is a much better place for manufacturing.
Prabhakar.
And this question is from
Prabhakar,
yes, sir.
Harikishan wants to just share some views from Singapore.
Yeah, please. Please,
Hari,
Mr.
you can
Harikish.
unmute and go ahead, Hari.
You have to unmute, sir.
I am Hari 87 E&I. As Ilangovan mentioned just now, apart from putting up facilities in Vietnam, another important aspect all our alumni members need to note that there is a ASEAN integration is happening in the last few years. Something like a EU concept, but the currencies are all independent of their own. So here what happens is the inter-ASEAN trade tariffs over a period, they are going to reduce considerably. So countries manufacturing within this region, exporting and importing within the ASEAN region is becoming very, very economical. So if any Indian companies or our alumni, if they are starting factories or businesses in these ASEAN countries, so exporting to the neighboring ASEAN countries is very, very cost effective. That is why the problem now is, even though our Indian export products are cheap or with good quality, when they export to the regional countries here, the import duty tariffs are very high. So this will hinder our export to this region. So there are opportunities, like many Korean companies, Chinese companies, they come to this region, put up their factory, and then they quickly sell it to the ASEAN market. This is one short cut method which our alumni can look into, coming inside ASEAN and then quickly expanding within the ASEAN. Another advantage is many ASEAN countries have different free trade agreement with EU and with US and with various other countries. So they can maximize and utilize those foreign trade agreement opportunities staying in the ASEAN region. Thank you.
Thank you, Hari sir. Next question by Mr. Somashekar. Can you unmute and put your question, Mr. Somashekar?
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Ilan, your data were very eye-catching and it was very informative.
Thank you.
So what I would like to understand is how the market is available for agro products in these Asian countries, especially Singapore and Cambodia, Vietnam.
Okay. See, there is a market for Indian traditional items. I would say like our medicines, our traditional items like jewelries, that type of thing, cosmetics. Because of a lot of Indians live here, that is one. And also a lot of people here like Indian products, another aspect of it. Agro products, it depends on which product, whether it is medication, medicated value, or it is, for food like vegetables, or I don't know what's you are looking at is important. Then another thing is how we are able to package it, whether we can package it properly to this market, also another aspect you have to see. I find here the local companies, their packaging and delivery methodology is really good actually. Okay, we don't have that in India so far. Okay, and there are a lot of produce agro products out of Malaysia, out of Thailand, out of Indonesia. This is a large, another new income in the coming one is the Cambodia, agricultural products. Okay, I'm not sure whether our products can compete. Okay, all the way from there. The transportation cost, handling cost, and you need to depend on channels, partners here, all those things. But agro products is a business. Definitely, it is happening here. A lot of people, due to health conscious, they are all buying a lot of agro products, organic products. It's a growing market. It all depends where we can, stand and how we can penetrate.
Thank you, sir.
Does it answer? Yeah.
Next question is from Mr. Dana. He has few questions on banking and he would like to share his views too. Mr. Dana, can you come online, please, and put your question? Mr. Dana.
Yeah, actually, my question is not on banking. I think it's like something wrong. But I just wanted to explain a few what Mr. Sadasivam has questioned to Ilan, especially on that, using the coastal area of Tamil Nadu. Actually, if you see, I think Ilan has mentioned, especially for the modular fabrications for the oil and gas industries. I'm one of the construction-oriented guy on oil and gas industries. I was in Singapore for 15 years. Ilan is my classmate also, my batchmate. We work very closely. Mr. Sadasivam, actually, I wanted to tell you that yes, especially, I mean, I'm not talking about the shipbuilding. Shipbuilding is not that viable in India, I believe, because Korean is making the shipbuilding very cheap and they are the masters on it. But what we can explore is the modular fabrication for oil and gas industries. Right now, L&T Kottupalli Yard is doing a lot of modular fabrication. In fact, I have visited few times there, and the project what they are doing for a German company called Linde, and it is going to Singapore. There is a island called Jurong Island. They are going to install the project there. But all modular fabrication is happening in Tamil Nadu, especially in Kottupalli Yard. Hopefully, if the people of our alumni have get together or join together, there is a possibility that we can look into that market. I have a lot of expertise, especially on the construction. Elon knows. Thank you very much.
Okay, this is Dhanshekaran. Okay, I only gave the request on banking. Mr. Ilangovan, the presentation was really fantastic. Are you guys hearing me?
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, go ahead. Thank you, Dhanshekaran.
Yeah. Okay, my question is on banking. See, what is the, like, I want to know some few things on the banking in Singapore. Like, what is the interest rate they are charging on funding? Whether funding is very liberal, and what is the margin money they are looking? And what about NPS? See, we are worried about here NPS. Now it is a major problem in India. Does not, does those things doesn't occur there? Can you elaborate on this? Thank you.
Okay, good. See, on the banking, bank facilities are available only for local registered companies. Okay, number one. Okay. There are big companies, big trading companies, international companies. Their facilities with the banking is different, as you know. Because in UK, they have in US, and they go with that. That's a different area actually. That is, we cannot go in there. Okay. I think the one you are looking at sort of I don't know, maybe discount, invoice discounting, or some import-export financing, that of thing, I believe, right? For the import of chemicals or export of chemicals or some commodities. I hope you are looking at that, okay? For that, you need to be a local company. That's number one, must. Otherwise, you are not this thing. Even for local companies, you don't get easily, automatically, you go with the, it's not like, you go to TIC or SITCO or something like that in India, or any bank, you go there and you put up a proposal, you get some 60%, 70%, something like that. No, we don't have that here. That mechanism is not here, okay? Something like a term loan is possible. Now they are doing it, but those are all, very much on your volume base, how much volume done and all those things. What is your holding, local holdings? So it's all case to case basis. Interest rate, if you want, I can tell something like 6 to 7% type of thing will come. Definitely, it will ultimately, okay, average type of, up to some, maybe I would say up to 10 million type of this thing, financing. Okay. But it all depends. It is not like India. That's, I can tell you, because I am in here. I know I am using this. But there are facilities available through the schemes. They call local enterprise scheme and overseas expansion scheme. Like this, they have some schemes. Though for those schemes, you have to be eligible as a local company. Okay. As a foreign company, if you want to come, and you need to wait a few years of operation before you go in for such facilities. Does it answer, Dhanshekaran?
Yeah, thank you very much. I was wondering why NPS are so much in India when compared to,
yeah, here it is strict. It's very, very much scrutinized, and nobody can play here in this thing. In fact, there are something like 1,200 banks, so any bank you name in the world, they are here. But it is controlled.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And next, thank you, sir. Next question is from Edil Maran. Edil, can you unmute and put your question, please? Edil.
Hi, sir. Yeah, thank you. Sir, really fantastic presentation, sir. It's a really eye-opener for budding engineers and budding entrepreneurs. So actually, நான் வந்து இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ்ல ரோபோட்டிக்ஸ் பிசினஸ் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன். இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ்க்கான ஆட்டோமோட்டிவ் அண்ட் மேனுஃபேக்சரிங் செக்டர்ஸ்க்காக வெல்டிங் ரோபோட்டிக்ஸ், ஹேண்ட்லிங் ரோபோட்டிக்ஸ் இந்தியாவில் நாங்கள் மேனுஃபேக்சர் பண்ணுறோம். வி கெட் த ரோபோ ஃப்ரம் ஜப்பான் and we do engineering solution and we sell to the customers in India. 1 or 2 customers we selling in European countries also. நாங்கள் எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்ணுறோம். But as an Asian country, we need to export this kind of solutions. Same what we do similar in என்ன பண்றோமோ அதை நாங்கள் we need to export in other Asian countries. How we get the partners generally? அதுக்கு ஏதாவது ஃபாரம்ஸ் இருக்கா? ஜென்ரலா 1-to-1 டிஸ்கஷன்ஸ்க்கு ஏதாவது ஃபாரம்ஸ் இருக்கா? அது நம்ம ரீச் பண்றதுக்கு, ஜென்வன் பார்ட்னர்ஸை ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்றதுக்கு எந்த கண்ட்ரி பெட்டரா இருக்கும்? அந்த கண்ட்ரியில் அந்த பார்ட்னர்ஸை மீட் அவுட் பண்றதுக்கு எந்த மாதிரியான ஃபோரம் வழியாக போனா it will be easy to get it.
Okay. See, this is basically system integration. Okay. As you said, you are buying equipments, you are doing one integration, maybe you are doing configuration and you customize to the customer requirement. If it is a food industry, you do something. If it is automobile industry, you do something. That's what I believe, right?
Yes, yes, sir. The automotive industry and other any kind of manufacturing sector.
Yeah. It's okay. So I understand that one. Okay. But important thing is, if you have come out with your own customized solution, number one, you need to productize that. Okay. You should have the concept of productizing. Take the data sheet and have proper validation of the function. It is functioning so many months, so many years. You should have proper references. Okay. And you need to have sort of a marketing survey you have to do where you are priced. You may be good in Indian pricing, but it may or may not be good for this market. Okay. So that is something a market survey you have to do. You can engage market survey people in the in-country. Okay. Lot of automation is happening in Thailand, in Singapore. In Singapore now, after the COVID, even Ananda Bhavan, our restaurant, Indian restaurant, it's on a robot. This thing, that fellow makes dosa and keep it on the small, moving sort of trolley. Okay, he puts the button D4, meaning the 4th row of the D row. It goes, gives the dosa to them. Yeah, it is happening. It is normal here in this thing, and in Singapore, you may be knowing, we called hawker centers. The common eating place. Singapore people spend time, mostly in the hawker center only. That's a favorite. Since morning, to evening, you can see many people in the hawker center. It will have some 50 outlets, depending on the area, and you have some, 300, 400 tables. Okay. So this robot, what it does, it goes around and collect all the empty plates. Okay, it take to the dishwasher automatic. Then it takes the new one, goes back to everything is done now in robotic thing. This type of. So you have to systemize that, and you need to see your pricing. It is possible. If you have a solution, yes, it is possible. You have to. We can discuss if you want more detail later.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
There is something known here. It's nothing new for us.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. We'll take one last open house question. For which we'll go for members introduction. Anyone would like to take up the question, please? Please unmute and put your question.
Rebecca.
Yes, sir.
Ravindra here.
Yes, Ravindra. Yeah.
See, as I mentioned to you 2 days back when we spoke, I'm also with 2 companies, Encon, who are already established there in ASEAN countries.
Yeah.
But I'm also with another company called Adiyam in Chennai. So we are into supply and servicing of plate type heat exchangers.
Okay.
So of course we are doing a lot of one-to-one replacement for major makes like Alpha Laval or Trantor or Kelvion here in India. And of course we also have a joint venture in Qatar. So I was just looking at for ASEAN countries if there is a market for especially spares with your contacts. So that is something which will be interesting to us, and we can take it forward if you're interested. Late IP exchanges spares. We're talking about SS316 plates and titanium plates and gaskets.
Yeah, I mean, see, as you know, here, it's a large refining center here. There are a lot of plate heat exchangers being used. MRO business is a good business, no doubt. But the thing is, the customers, end user like Exxon or Shell or these people may or may not buy direct. It will go through the service provider. Okay, they will engage the mechanical contractors. Okay, those contractors only will buy.
Okay.
Because after the replace the thing, they have to do the hydro test and make sure your seal is working. They cannot use that. If your seal is seal, the gasket is not good, then you have a problem, right? So mostly it goes through, as I understand, goes through I do supply such thing for my instrumentation, PT meters and all these things. That's the way we do. Okay. It depends. Have you supplied here in this region?
Not really,
Okay.
Not for the PHE space.
Okay. What I would suggest you to try with a few service providers. If you want, I can introduce.
Okay.
With your reference, you have to at least show some reference. If you supply to, I don't know, it's only in India. You supply to other places. I don't know how it's.
Yeah, we have supplied to we have supplied in India and a few companies in Qatar.
Okay. So those references you have to put in, and we can try if you.
Yeah. In India, we have been working with major industries, so references already built up, but only looking at opportunities outside India.
Yeah. That's very important. Once it's a matured product and you are confident, then it's somewhat easy. This is a question of getting the right channel partners and supporting them.
Yeah, I will address it to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ilangovan sir.
Yes.
We have Mr. Sundaram from Bangkok running the EPC business.
Okay, good.
Sundaram, you can
வணக்கம். கேக்குதுங்களா? வணக்கம்.
So Sundaram, everybody is excited, the here Thailand name,
Exactly. But the thing is not real. In reality, it is something completely different. Thailand has got a great potential for manufacturing base. As one of the countries like Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, these are the countries where the manufacturing sector side growth is going very, very high. That too, especially there is a latest thing called Eastern Economic Corridor.
Is it part of the B&R, Belt and Road, China? I think Sundaram dropped.
Disconnected.
Sundaram dropped, huh?
I think we lost his connection.
Probably will come back.
I think you skipped one question in between. I think somebody had asked, can you brief about the transaction barrier? How is linear shipping connectivity index when we consider these Asian markets? Sir, you got the question, sir, Ilangovan, sir?
Sorry, again? Sorry.
Can you brief about the transaction barriers? How is linear shipping connectivity index when we consider these Asian countries?
Okay, it's too technical for me, but one thing I can tell. See that we have now trade agreements. Okay, many tariff has come down between India and ASEAN. Okay, it started in 2011, and progressively they are so sort of rationalizing, like our GST. These tariffs are being rationalized in many countries, and interestingly, India has bilateral trade agreement with countries direct apart from ASEAN. See, there is one entity called ASEAN, between ASEAN as a whole, like EU. They have agreement with India, and India has agreement with individual countries. Okay, all this trade, shipping, documentation, all goes with that actually. It has to follow the particular countries, the agreement between these two countries. And also it goes with the HS code. See, there are some HS code which has, some tariff, this thing, and there is local content issue. There are some of them materials to be should have the commerce certification. It is locally produced to avail those tariff. You cannot get something from China and tell your product from Thailand and you sell to India. Not possible nowadays. There's a traceability. Okay. I guess that's what you are asking. There is a HS code procedure now, and there's a lot of digitalization happening. It has become more transparent compared to 10 years ago, because I used to deal those days from India and all. Even within this kind of thing. Even today with Indonesia, it is not that easy, but it's happening. It's digitalization is improving a lot of things. It is easy now compared to 10 years ago.
Yes,
Definitely.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm back again. Sorry, I got disconnected in between.
Okay. Yeah, please.
பேசலீங்களா?
Yeah.
என்னோட பேர் சண்முக சுந்தரம், chemical engineering 84 batch. But for the past 15 years, I'm into renewable energy field. We build private power plants based on biomass, hydropower plants, and all that kind of thing. இதுல மெயின் திங் இப்போ பேசிட்டு இருந்ததுல ஒரு பாயிண்ட் வந்து import duty as far as Thailand is concerned. I know there is a free trade agreement between India and Thailand itself. More than 100 over items, they have got very less, almost negligible import duty. As well as the same way, there may be other countries as well in the region where the import duty exemptions or reduction will be there. There are many things happening. This is not now. There are many years back this thing started. That is one thing regarding the import duty. And the second thing, like I started explaining about the manufacturing base. All these countries, they are still in need of many different manufacturing industrial development to happen. Number one, pharmaceutical industry. They are still importing, like Thailand, I know, they are still importing more than 70-80% of their total requirement of the medicines and the medicine supply related items. The same way, there are many other countries also. Out of that, more than 50% of the supply is coming from India itself, which is really proud to say. Like, okay, India is that way. Pharmaceutical industry in India is well established, and we should bring some of those companies into all these kind of countries here in the region. The next comes the chemical industry. Most of the basic chemicals are not manufactured in the region. They are still importing. Hundreds of chemicals are being imported as well. அந்த மாதிரி தான் நிறைய வாய்ப்புகள் நிறைய இருக்குங்க. யாரும் இன்ட்ரெஸ்டடா இருக்கிறவங்க எப்படினாலும் வந்து என்ன ஆரம்பிக்கலாம், எப்படி ஆரம்பிக்கலாம்னு we should continue such things. இளங்கோவன் நீங்க ஆரம்பிச்சது ரொம்ப நல்ல விஷயம், இந்த மாதிரி ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம். ஸோ இது அப்படி தொடர்ந்து அடுத்தடுத்து இன்னும் வெவ்வேறு லெவல்ல வெவ்வேறு விதமா வெவ்வேறு ஆக்டிவிட்டிஸ் தான் எடுத்து பண்ணணுங்கிறது தான் என்னோட இதுங்க ஆசை. அதை நடத்துங்க அடுத்து. சரிங்களா?
ஓகே.
Thank you, Mr. Sundaram sir, for joining us.
Yeah, welcome.